Good afternoon. Getting out this afternoon because I had to do stuff having to do with yesterday's deposition, write orders and so forth. So I've had a chance to hear Biden at his press conference, and almost no matter what he says, it is refreshing to hear a man speak in full sentences, cogently, in sequence, logical and contextual, about subjects that matter to the country. And there was some criticism that he hadn't had press conferences, but he'd made himself accessible for interviews and made announcements and so forth. And I think he's doing very well today. And he's basically talking about the dichotomy between a democracy and an autocracy, and how other nation states have ended up on the side of autocracy, for example, China, whereas we are going to prove, and he's saying that we are going to have our children writing theses on how democracy succeeded. And he proposes to do this by investing a certain amount in our growth and our financial success. The personnel who can implement this do exist in our government. And one of the leaders that I know pretty well is Chuck Schumer. I met him, he hired me to be his special counsel when he was still in the House of Representatives. There was a hearing during a presidential election year in 1996, and he asked a lawyer in New York where he could get someone to be helpful. And he asked the lawyer what kind of person I would be for the job. And he said an effing maniac. Now get this. And that's why Chuck Schumer called me up and asked me if I would be his special counsel. What I observed about him, he was in Congress then, and he was running in a primary for the Senate in New York. And he was like fifth out of the number of people who were trying to win the primary. He won that. He went from fifth place to first place. And then he was running against an incumbent, and they gave him no luck on doing that, and he became the senator from New York. Another thing that's interesting right now, given the controversy over Boulder, and will Congress suffer its usual paralysis or accomplish something, is Chuck, when he was in the House, he could get headlines the president couldn't get, because he was very concerned about how do we deal with guns, about gun safety, and what approaches would allow us to check who is getting the guns and to be concerned about outlawing those weapons that no one needs or should have. And we saw his drive, that is Chuck's, managing to hold together a caucus and pass the budget resolution, reconciliation bill, that gave us this first infusion with regard to the pandemic. And now, because he sees how that works, he's working on another one. That is both Biden in conjunction with the Senate, which has been our sticking point. What drives me crazy is these experts out there commenting on Biden, talking about, well, he has the majority. Really? We know that he doesn't have a working majority. He has a very tenuous majority, and we've seen how Manchin has compromised the effectiveness of that bare one-vote majority when we use the Vice President of the United States to vote on a matter that the entire caucus of Democrats, all 50 of them, vote on. So this is a real hat trick that Schumer's performing. And Biden, when he complimented him, this wasn't an empty compliment, because Biden's been on the Hill, and he knows how when the 60 votes are used, or there's a filibuster, or there's a split in the caucus, what it takes to get something working. So I'm very encouraged by the president's pronouncements today, and I'm very encouraged that we have the personnel to get the best possible result. Right now, Manchin is the fly in the ointment. And I think every person in West Virginia should be calling his office and saying, get off it. We need the minimum wage. We need voting reform. We need these proposals that are coming from the House and are supported by your own leadership. Get on the program. or maybe we'll cashier you and get a real Republican. So I'm also hopeful that in the midterms, maybe we'll pick up another Senate seat. But Biden is not gathering moss. He's working. And he's not going to stop no matter what the obstacles are. And that's a very refreshing trend in America right now. So I guess I'm more serious because I spent all day yesterday arguing at a deposition. So have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Out here, slightly cloudy, but nice. But I have my cathedral of trees. Bye-bye.